Lastly, I wanted to be able to comment about some of the issues that Board Member Leerbach had talked about last time relative to what our accident review process is internally, and is it really doing everything we need it to be able to do. First, let me outline really that we have really three tracks when anything occurs on the system. And one is that there is the claims process, and that is somebody falls on a bus and claims injury. That process is one track, and generally speaking, that's for more minor issues, but can be for larger as well. Second is the issue around is there anything that the operator, the individual involved, can do to be able to make that accident preventable. And understand the standard for our operators and others is not just is it legally who is liable, but rather is the individual, did they look both ways in an intersection, making sure somebody wasn't running a red light or other things, meaning that it's not just what is legally there, but is it, could there have been anything taken that was preventable. The third is where we really are reviewing major incident, a serious injury or a fatality, and we really have a process to be able to deal with urgent review. And Shelley Lomax is the one who heads this up and is available, obviously, to be able to address any issues there. What we have found is there are, at the national level, the National Safety Council, and they have a number of experts that we have utilized in previous times to come in and review our accidents, particularly that last category, also around preventability. And they have made, they both audited us, made suggestions, and reviewed our actions, and that's been very helpful. However, as we talked internally, I really wanted us to be able to take even an additional step on that, and so I directed that we utilize a National Safety Council expert to be available, and some of this, because it happens so fast, will be by video conferencing, to be able to be a part of each of our reviews of any of those serious incidents. And again, a serious incident is one that involves any kind of a collision between a bus or a light rail vehicle and a pedestrian or a bicyclist, or if it is involving a vehicle where there is, in fact, a transport of an individual. And what we are doing is, and what I've directed is, to ask that expert to be able to be a full part of that review, to be able to raise questions, to be able to make sure every issue has been explored about how we can, in fact, not only issues around preventability in the operator sense, but also structural issues around how the setting is, everything from how a bus makes a turn to how light rail operates our station platforms. I think this is will be valuable. It will both educate our internal staff about here's somebody from the outside, a National Safety Council expert, to be able to really talk about what are the best practices from around the country, and to be able to address those issues. I think that's very, very important. Now, we had taken a number of steps internally. When Steve Banta was here, we had really made a number of changes to our rail review. But I think that this additional step of involving that expert from the outside right from the get-go in terms of those urgent reviews are going to be very, very important. And I just wanted to be able to share that with you. In fact, in the fatality that was the unfortunate fatality on November 22nd, pardon me, I can remember. Shelley, what was the date?
It was 17th of February.
17th of February in what's called the Wallula Cut. That's that no trespassing wooded area between Ruby Junction and and the city, Gresham City Hall, we did have that individual from the National Safety Council, the National Safety Council expert, actually there for that, hooked in this case not by video conference because that hadn't quite gotten done by our technology people, but they were there by telephone and had a series of questions they posed in writing prior to that, and made sure that we went through each of those steps. Again, I think that's a step that's going to be allow us to be able to both assure ourselves, but also to seek the most expert advice that's available from around the nation about how we really can address any accident, and to be assured that we're doing all actions necessary to be able to prevent that from any kind of recurrence.
Is an individual with those qualifications accessible to us?
The answer is yes. We have utilized one today. We think that we will probably end up having more than one that will be tappable, because if that individual were busy and all of a sudden we need to have it happen within the next 10 hours, the review, we want to be able to tap somebody else. But the individual that has been used is very, very good, is considered to be one of the best in the nation. But we would expect that there are other National Safety Council experts that can be also utilized if that individual is not available. But we will, in all cases, have somebody from that National Safety Council expertise.
Yeah. Fred, could you expand a little bit, either with respect to the National Safety Council expert, or however it takes place within your own staff, regarding the interview of witnesses and...
Shelley, why don't you come on up?
You're an operator, and depending on the serious incidents and stuff like that, what actually takes place?
Good morning. Following an urgent review, we typically try to convene what we call the TCRC, the Transit Change Review Committee, oftentimes within one business day of an urgent, a major accident. The committee is comprised of representation from throughout the district. So we have trainers, we have the training department, we have maintenance, we have safety, we have real estate safety oversight. We have everyone who has a piece of it, facilities. We look at all the evidence that's available to us. We look at the operator statements. We look at the supervisor statements. We look at what we call the event recorder, for example, for a rail accident, which tells us how fast was the train going, when did they apply the emergency brake, when did they apply the mushroom, we call it. We look at video that's available. We bring in Google Earth to see exactly what the geographic situation is where the accident occurred. Any statements that are available. If police responded, police come to our debrief, and we have the police reports that are available to us at the time. So we try to take a hard look at all aspects of the accident so that we can really understand were the appropriate SOPs followed, did the equipment fail, did the signals work as they should have. It really is about looking at that urgent review. It's about looking at all aspects of the system to make sure if there's anything that we haven't looked at or anything that can be improved, that we make that finding and a recommendation, and we track that to make sure that that change happens.
You mentioned looking at reports and videos, and then I thought I heard you say that sometimes police officers come and debrief, but I haven't heard you talk about actually going out and talking to people.
At the scene, when there's a major accident, our supervisors go to the scene, they interview witnesses, and the police also will interview witnesses. So we will have those reports available to us.
But your group itself does not get involved in the actual talking to individuals? Or?
In some cases, many cases, the people who were at the scene that evening are also part of the review. For example, the field operations manager or the person in charge of safety who went to the scene will be present at that debrief to talk about exactly what they saw, who they talked to. So we cover anything that's known to us, we cover.